How's it going, everyone? Welcome. Here we are at Tinhorn Creek Vineyards. We're currently located in our barrel cellar. So super awesome place to come hang out, chillax, especially it's nice and cool out here. We're located here on the Golden Mile Bench, and anyone who is here in the area, whether it's BC or across the country, knows how hot it can get here. So we're absolutely refreshing over here in our barrel cellar. Our barrels and our wine also enjoy this cool temperature that we have as well. I just want to do a quick introduction for myself. My name is Mike. I am the Retail and Experience Manager here at Tinhorn Creek Vineyards. And my co-host,
I'm Coral Kuklo. I'm the winemaker here. I've been here a long time. I'm kind of like part of the furniture.
So we've put together a really fun virtual experience here. We're calling it What Goes with Gewürztraminer. I'll let you guys figure out the play on words there. So we're really featuring our 2018 Gewürztraminer today. Gewürz is one that can be often just forgotten. It's very tough to pronounce. People see it and they think, I don't know, I'm not too sure. I'll just order the Pinot Gris. But it's a super delicious wine that goes very well. It's on the cool, more of the white side, so cooler, refreshing palate. So especially here in the heat of the Okanagan, it is absolutely refreshing. We've lined up some spectacular food items that we've actually had sourced from a restaurant site, Miradoro. So Chef Jeff was putting these fantastic creations together specifically for us today. If you haven't dined at Miradoro, I definitely encourage you to check it out. They are still open daily, so 11:30 until 9 o'clock. Reservations are a must. Hopefully you guys came this past summer to check out their dining. Absolutely fantastic food over there. So we're really going to dive into the Gewürztraminer as itself. So Gewürztraminer, or the way I pronounce it at least, I've been corrected as pronouncing it Gewürztraminer. So it really depends on the pronunciation, but it does have that Gewürz, which is the really big thing that a lot of people will be often intimidated about the pronunciation. So the Gewürz part is actually German for spicy. So the Gewürz actually naturally comes from Europe, as most of the varietals here in the Okanagan that we actually produce some really high quality wines with do come from the Europe region. This one actually has been fought over. Is it German? Is it Italy? Is it France? So the origins of where it comes is a bit kind of misty. But what I can tell you about it is that the Traminer is the grape itself that originated, that really kind of led this to what it is. It was made famous in the town of Tremen, which is in northern Italy. This is a German-speaking town, so hence the German pronunciation of the word there. And the interesting thing, the Gewürz, the first portion of it actually is spicy, which most people think it's to do with the spicy characteristics in the wine or a little bit of kind of peppery notes they pick up, but it actually is reference to how aromatic it is. So it's just a term that they got when they're smelling it, like, woo, that's very aromatic, or that's very spicy. Just saying how floral is, how fragrant, and how overpowering that floral characteristics are in the wine. So of course, you want to tell me a bit about our Gewürztraminer and how we grow it here at Tinhorn and just our winemaking process. I'll pour you a glass of our lovely Gewürztraminer.
That's a great idea. So the vineyard that we source the grapes from is on property here. It's just above, it's the hill above the winery. And that's a very old vineyard. I think it's from like '88 when the pullout happened. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but that's another whole story. Anyway, so this vineyard's pretty old. And it's very unique in the way the soil is. It's rocky, it's part of the Golden Mile, so it's on an alluvial fan, and you can taste the minerality in the Gewürz. And people know our Gewürz. It is a little bit different than other wineries, and I know it's from our terroir because when we make it, it's a simple wine to make. Getting it ripe is a little bit different. Sometimes, you know, you'd think it'd be our first grape that would come in September, but often it doesn't. Sometimes we've even brought it in October with some reds. So
why is that?
That's interesting. It's like the flavors don't develop. The sugar gets ripe, but the flavors don't develop. And you know, you were talking about the spicy. Actually, even when we make it and we're pressing it in here in the winery, you can actually smell cinnamon. So it's really, really interesting, and it just smells juicy. And at that point, it just smells fruity and juicy and like cinnamon. And then the floral characteristics, lychee, you can smell lychee. And then the floral characteristics seem to come during and after ferment.
So let's start tasting this particular Gewürztraminer Coral. I'm really interested to start to analyze it. I've been smelling it, and just on the nose, it is smelling fantastic. It's very floral, very aromatic. There's a lot going on in the glass here. I'm really excited to have Coral go into a bit more depth and really go over what we're smelling, because I'm going to say there's a lot going on. It's almost could be overwhelming for me, and many people who are tasting a Gewürztraminer who might not be familiar with how it normally tastes or what characteristics they're picking up on. So if you want to go into some of those characteristics I'm smelling, that'd be great.
You know, it hits you with lychee and orange and lemon and sweet citrus. There's an herbal component to it, but it's just so refreshing. And it's got it's well balanced. It's a little bit sweet, but nicely balanced with the acid, so it's really good for just drinking on the patio, or it goes well with a lot of foods, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. So cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. I think I'll be taking some of that home tonight.
Wow. Very rich, but also very crisp, refreshing. Pick up some of those tropical notes, that lychee for sure.
It's juicy, hey?
But it's very juicy.
Yeah.
So I think we'll start diving into some of these fantastic food pairings that Chef has put together here for Miradoro. So the first one we're going to be diving into to really see if it goes with Gewürztraminer is their kale Caesar salad with a balsamic egg. So especially looking at it and kind of thinking about Gewürztraminer and a kale Caesar salad, my mind is like saying it doesn't want to work, but we're going to dive into the kale Caesar salad, and Coral's going to really answer this question for us. So Coral, if you will.
The first thing we're thinking is it's probably very garlicky, and so that will really, the Gewürztraminer will really complement that, and it'll help refresh your palate and cleanse your palate. So let's try. Oh yeah, it's really good. And I'm also thinking the green flavors of the salad will pick up the herbal notes in the wine as well.
So you're saying that the little bit of residual sugar in here is going to help balance out that garlicky kind of tone to it?
Yeah, and the fresh, bright fruit, and yeah, that's good. It does exactly what I thought.
Awesome, especially having a little bit of that creaminess from the cheese.
It's very rich.
I think that also then balance out how rich and kind of on the fuller body spectrum this particular Gewürztraminer is, because it does have quite a large mouthfeel to it, I will say there as well. So I think we'll then dive right into the next one. So the second dish that Chef put together for us is a grilled octopus dish. For those who haven't tried his grilled octopus, it is highly recommended. He's often featured it at several events here in the Okanagan. Chef Meeps Grape was one of the big notable ones last summer that he brought the grilled octopus to, and we had huge results, raving fans. Last year we paired it with our rosé, and I'm really curious to see how it will go with our Gewürztraminer today. It does have a little bit of spice to it. It is on a salsa verde to really help amplify and show off those characteristics of the dish, but also pairing with the Gewürztraminer. So tell us a little bit about that dish, Coral.
You know, when we talk about Gewürztraminer, we always say it's good with spicy food, Asian food, and this dish has a fair amount of spice, but it's also got lots of char the way they've cooked it. And I wouldn't have thought that it would go with Gewürztraminer. I don't generally think about seafood with Gewürztraminer, but it's lovely. Like, it's like you can taste the citrus, and yeah, and again, it just like cleanses your palate, refreshes it.
So now we'll dive into the third one. This is one that is a bit more unusual, I would say, especially when it comes to what you pair with wine. It's a very popular wine pairing, but I don't think most would think about pairing a Gewürztraminer with cheese.
Right.
I definitely didn't as well. As it wasn't until Chef was like, oh, cheese. Especially you might have cheese either between courses at home. Maybe you'll have it as a kind of digestif after dinner. So especially pairing with a Gewürztraminer, it's a nice one to just sip on as we're talking about. But the cheese, the richness of the cheese, this is actually a Jurassic cheese coming from Salmon Arm, so just the North Okanagan here. It's made from cow's milk, medium wash, so they let it sit for a little bit to allow it to firm up a little bit, but still on the softer side. And there's also accompanied of local nuts here and some preserves. So really interesting to try the Gewürztraminer with the cheese there, as to me at least, I'm not thinking this should work.
Yeah, but when you're talking about it, it sounds like a little bit like a dessert.
Yeah.
So.
Especially paired with some liquid dessert, this Gewürztraminer is just wonderful.
Oh wow, that's good cheese. And the preserve, it's got lots of flavors that are mimicked in the wine.
Is it really? Is the cheese heavier on the palate as well, or is it a bit on the lighter side?
I wouldn't say it's light. It's nice and dry and crumbly, and it's got a very distinct flavor. And again, the Gewürz is really good with it. It's just refreshing, and that would be an excellent dessert. And you would impress your friends.
Yeah.
Like, it's so unusual.
Because the way I'm thinking is, like, especially with the cheese is going to be a bit heavier. As you chew it, it's going to cover your entire palate, your tongue there. So the Gewürztraminer is a really good tool to help and cleanse the palate. So it's going to mix with a little bit of that cheese, especially if you are eating it. You do have a little bit of cheese left on your tongue. Don't feel bad about having to clean your palate first before drinking the wine. The wine is a perfect means of palate cleanser to help refresh and then enjoy with the cheese that's still lingering on your palate there. A really interesting one, especially if you want to have, if you're having friends over, especially if you can do it safely. It's a good way to kind of easily throw together a cheese board, pick up a few local cheeses from the grocery store, have a couple different options to really have some diversity on the plate, and then just have a bottle or two open.
This would be awesome on the patio.
So when people think about old school like winemaking and food pairings, a lot of people say, oh, the food that's cooked in those regions goes with the wine that's grown in these regions. So Chef is then really taking grapes that are grown in our backyard with items that are sourcing from within the valley here. The cheese, I think, is the furthest, well, of course, the octopus coming from the ocean, but the cheese coming from Salmon Arm is probably one of the furthest regions he would be sourcing his ingredients from, and keeping as fresh and local as possible better allows us to enjoy with the wine, but also then you get a sense of just what you're eating all together. So how did you ultimately enjoy the 3 dishes, Cora? What would you say, what goes best with the Gewürztraminer?
Oh, okay. So I think the biggest surprise for me was the octopus.
The grilled octopus from your door.
Yeah. That I wouldn't have thought that a fruity wine like this would be able to stand up to something such strong flavors, and a seafood dish with the charred octopus and the black squid ink potatoes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So that was, I think that's my favorite.
Wow. And definitely, like, as we're sitting here talking, tasting the wine, tasting the food, I'm really like impressed. I can still smell the wine, I can still taste it. The aromatics are absolutely sublime. And it's just all on the palate. It's like very refreshing, and I think a lot of people, even myself.
Can I have some more, please?
Absolutely, Carl. I think a lot of people, including myself, would write off Gewürztraminer as being a wine that you would think about it as your go-to on the weekend. Most people think the common, like Chardonnay, Pinot Gris, Rosé. If you're looking for a big bold red, maybe a Cab Franc, especially from Tinhorn, but the Gewürztraminer is absolutely spectacular. We just released it 2018 earlier this year, so we do have it available in our wine shop especially. We hope you guys are able to come visit us in the winter. We still will be hopefully open our regular normal winter hours. Of course, following everything as it progresses. We can't predict the future as much as we wish we could. We are also, as we talk about doing the feature for the Gewürztraminer, we are hoping that we will be featuring again sometime with other events, so definitely come check us out. Visit us here at our Oliver location, which is our only location, I should say. We don't have a Tinhorn Creek Part 2 that you're hiding from us, Coral? Or?
No.
No, yeah.
Other than my house.
Other than our house. So definitely swing by, come visit us in the tasting room. We of course love seeing you folks here. And for those who have opened their swag bag already, you might have noticed there's a special little rack card in there, or a postcard from Tinhorn that we sent you guys. Even though we're featuring our 2018 Gewürztraminer, we of course wish you guys order this and add it to your cart while you're shopping. If you go onto our website until, it should say the details on the swag card, I think it's from September 12th to October 15th. You can actually go onto our website. When you're purchasing, put in the promo code half-corked or HCM 2020, and you'll receive 15% discount on your entire wine order. So especially if you can't make it out to us, especially if you're in Ontario or Newfoundland or wherever you are, go on our website. We can ship anywhere across Canada. If it is an order of 6 bottles or more, we will ship it complimentary for you as well.
Wow, that's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Coral.
Thank you.
We're here in the barrel cellar, so naturally she's going to head back down, check on the barrels.
Yeah,
as most
back to work. It's a hard job.
Do.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it,
Somebody's got to do it, exactly.
Anyway, we miss all of you and hope that we're going to see you again soon.
In the meantime, hope everyone stays safe and enjoys the rest of the fall.
Cheers.
Cheers.